Oklahoma is home to dozens of ghost towns. One of those long-forgotten communities is inside Tulsa.
The town of Alsuma was annexed by Tulsa back in 1966, and the area was eventually turned into an industrial park. Autumn Bracey goes in search of the lost city in an Oklahoma's own original.
You lived in Alsuma, you loved Alsuma. It's kind of hard to tell an outsider all about Alsuma unless they was in here to live the culture.
These days, businesses line the streets near 51st and Mingo. Some of them have been here for decades. But if you go back in time,
there once was a vibrant town that exists, and this is where it was.
The town of Alsuma is only a distant memory for some longtime residents.
See that building?
Yes. But some traces of the town are still around, like the Alsuma soccer complex. That's where I met Lloyd McMahon, who grew up just east of the park between 1947 and 1966.
It's a big change from where it was when I was raised out here. People had their own houses, they had gardens, they had ways of living.
McMahon remembers the tight-knit community was filled with dozens of families and good neighbors like James Goodwin.
Alsuma to me was a village of people. And so people from the village would come up and they would fish, or we would play football on the front lawn.
Goodwin is grateful for his time growing up on a farm.
For a young person, it was a good place for me to grow up. I was removed from any kind of development I was gotten into in the city, I suspect.
With the community in decline, the growth of Tulsa and Broken Arrow consumed Alsuma.
This was the sign that was on the railroad.
Historian Shirley Ballanero says it became challenging for residents to get services once the area was zoned as industrial.
When you're in a town and you're surrounded by other cities, the Union is growing, Broken Arrow is growing, and if you're in a little pocket and you don't have, they call them privies, an outdoor toilet is a privy, and you don't have sewer, and you don't have water, DEQ's gonna come in and say, you can't stay here because you don't have an indoor toilet, you can't have an outhouse.
Owner of Tulsa Gas Technologies, Tom Sewell, says he and his family bought the property where his business operates in 1999.
It didn't have any running water, had an outhouse. They had an inside spigot, like a weatherproof spigot, and that's all they had for running water.
Sewell says he doesn't think the area was neglected, just forgotten. He says that while the town is now gone, the area still serves the community.
Some of this equipment back here in the back, these are $50,000, $60,000 pieces of equipment. And you start dragging that sales tax back into Tulsa, and it's a good deal.
Those who grew up here say what's been erased from history is still remembered.
Alsuma had the black-white community, okay, and didn't have the arguments, the fighting, and the carrying on. We all enjoyed each other, shopped at the same stores, and just played in the same playgrounds. That's the way it was back then.
Even though we can't get it back, but we can preserve that history.
Autumn Bracey, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.